In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, the Imperium of Man stands resolute, shielded by its devoted sons. From savage origins, one chapter emerges, nurtured by humanity's ideals and the flicker of hope. Within them, the essence of the great angel Sanguinius burns bright, a leader woven with beauty, grace, artistry, and an empathetic heart. They share tales of the warrior who confronted his corrupted brother, sacrificing all so his father might seize victory from the abyss of despair. But above all, tales are told of Sanguinius's avenging sons, an ethereal legion of angels, akin to their prime arc before them, now the Emperor's vengeful tempest, drowning all who dare to oppose the Imperium in a deluge of scarlet blood. These warriors are survivors, bearers of an unwavering creed, noble in spirit, steadfast in honor, and unleash fury on the battlefield. They bear the noble title of Blood Angels. In the twilight of the Unification Wars and the beginnings of the Great Crusade, the Blood Angels, like all Space Marine legions, were born. Once, they were known simply as the 9th Legion Astartes, far removed from the angelic visage they'd later done. On Terra's crimson-stained earth and amidst the Xenos-infested moons that circled Jupiter, they etched a brutal legend. Battling relentlessly, they left their mark on Sol's unforgiving terrain. Yet, their methods earned them a somber repute. Outcasts of sorts, their approach to warfare tinged with savagery and cruelty. In the beginning, they were far from the celestial figures they'd eventually evolve into, and their journey was a baptism in blood and fire. The Astartes transformation bestowed each warrior with angelic features of their distant Primarch, a figure still lost amid the vast cosmic expanse. Yet, this ethereal echo only served to accentuate the horrors they unleashed upon the battlefield. As they embraced the moniker, the Revenant Legion, their brutality knew no bounds, spiraling into a maelstrom of excess. Whispers weaved tales of Imperial Army regiments, once allies, now swallowed by shadows. The blood-soaked and ruthless military campaigns lingered in hushed murmurs. These deeds drew the personal disdain of Primarch Rogel Dawn, etching their malevolent behavior deep into the Imperium's reputation. They were not the first Space Marine Legion to cross the boundaries of conduct set forth by the Emperor. And while the 9th may have never suspected it, for a brief moment an executioner's sword hung above them, waiting for the order to cast them down, an order given only twice before. With the fate of the Legion in the balance, salvation unfurled its wings. Upon an arid, radiation-scorched moon encircling the world of Baal, Baal Secundus, an angelic figure emerged, a beacon of hope to unite the tribes on his homeworld, forging an oasis of peaceful coexistence amidst the desolation. He bore a visage of sublime perfection, his grace unrivaled. This ethereal being was Sanguinius, a prodigal son of the Emperor and the long-lost Primarch of the 9th Legion. Sanguinius, a survivor amidst the inhospitable wreckage of a shattered realm, had emerged from the crucible of adversity, his humanity honed to a razor's edge. The moment of his reunion with the Emperor of Man is whispered in legends. They say that as tears welled in his crystal eyes, they fell to the earth below, giving rise to a profusion of blossoms, a symbol of his deep-rooted emotions, an embodiment of the beauty and anguish he carried within. From his father, he sought but one boon: mercy for his people, well aware that the devout sons of Baal were not the ideal recruits for the Emperor's Grand Imperium. When the Emperor granted this plea and reunited Sanguinius with his blood-stained legion, it was the same wellspring of empathy that guided his actions. Refusing to cast his gaze upon them as irredeemable, he perceived the potential beneath the veneer of violence. In the midst of these crimson-stained executioners, Sanguinius saw the glimmer of redemption. He set forth to shepherd his sons away from the abyss of their insatiable bloodlust, compelling them to ascend the ladder of humanity, not plummet into savagery's abyss. In the crucible of their journey, they forged a new identity, the Blood Angels, a name earned in the fierce embrace of combat, side by side with Sanguinius's closest brother, the mighty warmaster Horus Lupercal. The bond between Sanguinius and Horus transcended legends, even sparking embers of envy among their brothers. As they marched alongside the Lunar Wolves, the 9th Legion unearthed a fresh reservoir of honor, discipline, and even mercy within themselves. A transformation unfolded. No longer the blood-drenched reapers of the Revenant Legion, they emerged as the Blood Angels, a brotherhood of warriors, proud and radiant, akin to their angelic Primarch. Yet the 9th Legion harbored innate flaws, etched into their very gene seed, a sinister undercurrent that some found insurmountable. Concealed from all but a select few, corruption slithered like a silent viper through their ranks, casting shadows upon their newfound brilliance. In the heat of battle, some warriors would shatter, their minds descending into a maelstrom of violence, evoking the harrowing specter of the Revenant's darkest days. Those who managed to claw their way back from this abyss found themselves horrified, repulsed by the depths of their own brutality. Yet for others, the madness clung like a relentless shadow, an ever-deepening chasm that swallowed reason and sanity whole. For these tormented blood angels, salvation dwindled to a single grim outcome: execution, often carried out by the hand of the Primarch himself. This malignant illness was named the Red Thirst. Sanguinius despaired, envisioning a day when his legion would be entirely consumed by this crimson madness. Amidst the war and chaos, there existed an even deeper affliction that clung to the avenging angels like a parasitic worm. It bore a name with the weight of 1,000 sorrows: the Black Rage. This sinister curse, though known to them, would only unveil its full, terrible visage in the crucible of Sanguinius' fate. As the Horus heresy destroyed the fabric of the galaxy, the Blood Angels made a daring gambit to hurl themselves through the turbulent sea of warp storms that fractured the celestial expanse. Their vessel emerged, battered but unbroken, onto the holy soil of Terra. Here they stood shoulder to shoulder with their brother-in-arms, the unyielding Imperial fists, the swift white scars, and countless others who rallied to the tattered banner of loyalty to the Emperor of Mankind. The landscape was a vision of apocalypse, a nightmare given form. Burning spires danced in feverish illumination. Shattered fortifications whispered their mournful dirges to the wind. In the heart of this inferno, the Blood Angels waged a battle of courage. Each warrior was a living embodiment of valor, a testament to the unbreakable spirit of humanity, etching their names into Imperium history. Sanguinius himself was a whirlwind of death, his wings unfurled like the archangel of old, delivering a tempest of divine retribution. Yet, despite the thunderous onslaught, despite the rivers of traitor blood that stained the earth, there lingered a palpable sense of impending doom. And this doom eventually came. As the war party surged toward the conclusion of the battle, they would converge with the betrayer himself, Warmaster Horus. However, Sanguinius found himself facing his brother alone. In that moment of reckoning, amidst the smoke and the screams, the world seemed to hold its breath. The very air crackled with two titanic forces on the precipice of collision. What transpired in that final, fateful confrontation has become a story of mystery and half-truths. The Ecclesiarchy's sermons wove their own narrative, a veil of sanctified mystery, while the Inquisition censors tightened the shroud of secrecy. Yet one truth remains immutable. Sanguinius, the great angel, met his end. As his soul departed this cruel realm, the shackles that had bound the Black Rage were released, setting forth an inferno of wrath that consumed his sons. The Primarch's psychic death scream reverberates through the echoes of time, an eternal wail that haunts the souls of his children for 10,000 years and more. When the Black Rage seizes one of their own, their consciousness is yanked from the present and thrust back to that fateful day where their father was slaughtered. They are forced to relive that moment for all eternity. Those afflicted by this condition are convinced that they are Sanguinius, or one of his champions, carrying a fragment of their Primarch's formidable strength and power. To them, any adversary takes on the guise of the traitor Horus and his treacherous legions. In the eons since the tragic fall of Sanguinius, the Blood Angels held steadfast to the venerable Codex Astartes. Yet, in recognition of the unique curse woven into their gene seed, they introduced subtle alterations into their storied legacy. As with the hallowed traditions of Astartes' legions, the Blood Angels bowed to the leadership of their chapter master and the venerable chapter council. This council, a fusion of the conventional chaplains, logisticians, and fleet captains that graced any chapter, bore an additional weight of distinction. Each member among them was baptized by the storied history of Baal Secundus, their titles drawn from their homeworld, and not merely from the Codex itself. Foremost among these honored brethren stood the noble sentinels of the Sanguinary Guard and the revered keepers of the Sanguinary priesthood. The Guard, an assemblage of the chapter's mightiest, were clad in armor and brandished weapons whose lineage stretched back to the ancient battle of the Siege of Terra, their faces shrouded in the fearsome death masks, casting a pall of terror upon their foes. To stand before them was to confront a living nightmare, to witness the embodiment of an avenging angel's wrath. While many chapters deploy similar units of elite warriors, the role of the Sanguinary priests is an exclusive role reserved solely for the sons of the original legion. These priests are deeply intertwined with the very lifeblood of their Primarch, an integral part of the chapter's enduring customs. It falls upon this sacred order to shepherd raw recruits through the crucible of transformation, guiding them into the esteemed ranks of full-fledged battle brothers. They bear the solemn responsibility of safeguarding the final vestiges of their Primarch's essence, weaving its ethereal fabric into sacred chalices, thus allowing their chapter to bask in the echo of their father's presence. From the hallowed ranks of the priesthood emerges the venerable Council of Bone and Blood, a conclave vested with the power to anoint a new chapter master, should the need arise. Yet those granted the positions of leadership over the Blood Angels embrace the dark truth. Theirs is a dying chapter. Among their manifold responsibilities, a solemn duty endures: to vigilantly monitor their brethren for the ancient curse that courses through their veins. Despite unwavering endeavors, the red thirst persists, emerging as a haunting specter on the battlefield, a stain only redeemed in the direst of circumstances or under the guiding hand of the revered Sanguinary priests. For most, the red thirst is but a temporary mental state where they enter a fevered frenzy, while the black rage, that primal tempest, endures unyielding. To those ensnared in the mournful echo of their Primarch's final cry, only the grim embrace of the Death Company awaits. This brotherhood, both furious and gruesome, strides forth, expecting to meet their end in the heat of battle. Clad in armor, awash with the deep hues of mourning, they are shepherded by chaplains, their helms adorned with a skull. With an unbridled fury, they hurl themselves headlong into the midst of the foe, relenting only when the enemy has been annihilated, or they perish trying. As the galaxy approached its twilight, colossal warp storms, the mightiest in existence, sundered humanity in two. This encroaching darkness veiled the brilliance of the Astronomicon, severing the Imperium of Man in half, and giving rise to the enigmatic Dark Imperium. Within its boundaries lay isolated human worlds, including Baal, the cherished birthplace of the Blood Angels. Baal now transcends its role as a mere ancestral home for the Blood Angels. It has evolved into the very heart of the Imperium Nihilus, bearing the weight of every aspiration and dream. Above Baal, an immense fleet assembles, a battle fleet poised to embark on a cosmic crusade. Leading this armada is Commander Dante, now hailed as the leader of this shadowed Imperium, a station bestowed by the hand of Robute Gilliman, a level of authority unseen in history's past. Their mission is unequivocal: to scour the cosmos for every fallen world, answering the fervent pleas of the Imperium's valiant defenders seeking salvation. They were the last bastion of hope, a luminous spark in the gathering gloom. It is a quest that defies the logic of mortality itself. But it encapsulates the very essence of the Blood Angels, the purpose for which their ancient legion was forged. Across countless worlds, an eerie silence blankets the land, pierced only by the mournful tolling of bells in the depths of night. Each chime is a somber requiem, resonating from the towering spires of temple worlds to the humble steeples of long-forgotten hovels. Once a year, they echo in honor of a fallen angel, their haunting resonance weaving through existence. In these places, no matter how dire the circumstances, a day is set aside for celebration and reflection. Tales are shared of an imperial saint whose brief moment of beauty, grace, artistry, and compassion elevated humanity towards the Emperor's light, towards a future more splendid than mankind could ever envision. They speak of his courage to face the twisted reflections of his own blood, a darkened lineage born of corruption and strife. His purpose, a beacon in the abyss, was to forge a path for his father to grasp victory from the depths of despair. Yet amidst imperial history, it is the chronicles of his avenging sons that burn brightest, a celestial host of radiant angels. They mirror their father, Sanguinius, in their resplendence, embodying the Emperor's unyielding wrath. In their wake, the heavens weep scarlet, a deluge that engulfs all who dare to raise arms in defiance of the Imperium. This concludes today's chapter from the archives. Please like and subscribe if you want more. Leave a comment on which chapter we should reveal from the archives next.